Welcome all to the Toxicology on Board channel. In this video, we'll go through question number 11. The question number 11 is about selenium toxicity, blind staggers, alkali disease. Let's go to the question. Open range livestock grazing near a fertilizer plant and an agriculture area were diagnosed with blind staggers. The most likely consumed forage. Option A, containing a high concentration of fluoride released from phosphate processing. Option B, recently sprayed with certain organophosphate insecticides. Option C, with mycotoxin contamination due to unusually wet conditions. Option D, containing high concentration of selenium. Option E, growing on soil with an imbalance or essential divalent cations like calcium, magnesium, iron. The right answer is option D, containing a high concentration of selenium. Okay, so what is the background behind this question was that there were certain livestock animals who were grazing. They were feeding on the plants, and these plants are contaminated with this metal selenium. So whenever these animals, livestock animals, grazing animals consume these plants containing high concentrations of selenium in large amounts, at that time these animals were subjected to blind staggers. We'll see other kinds of symptoms also what these animals showed. Okay, and also these plants contains fertilizers which are high in concentration with selenium. Okay, so the right answer is containing high concentration of selenium. Let's so from this video we'll understand what is selenium toxicity, what is selenium deficiency, what is blind stagger, and how excess of fertilizers on the plants not only they are going to affect human beings as well as livestock. Okay, let's see what is first of all blind stagger. Blind stagger is a chronic condition in cattle caused by selenium poisoning from eating plants that contain water soluble selenium compounds. This is very important. Water soluble means it can be washed off rather than lipophilic, where it will retain in the soil and it will lead to bioconcentration or bioaccumulation. What are the symptoms? Let us see. Early stages are impaired vision, stumbling, loss of interest in eating and drinking. So these animals who are feeding on this large selenium containing plants, they will lose because a opacity will be formed, a white color layer will be formed on this on the cattle eyes. Okay, they are losing loss of interest in eating and drinking because we'll see how why like that. Middle stages, you'll see that front legs weaken and animals become anorectic, means decrease in appetite. Here it is showing, but front legs. Here it is showing hind legs, but it is actually front legs which is getting weakened. Late stages, tongue and swallowing mechanism are parallel because of which, okay, anorectal decrease in body weight, respiration becomes labored, and animal may die suddenly. Other symptoms include wandering, salivation, low temperature, abdominal pain, and cloudy cornea, as you have seen here. Blind stagger can also be caused by other factors. If in your question, other than selenium toxicity, some other options were there. So these options were also would have been the right answer for blind stagger. Those are nothing but ingesting grasses infected with ergot. Ergot poisoning, I have earlier discussed in one of my previous video, which is mainly caused because of mycotoxins and the corn cereals which are contaminated with the mycotoxin, fusarium. Magnesium or calcium deficiency. Another reason might be inflammation of brain encephalitis or brain covering meningitis. These all also will lead to blind stagger. I mean to say, in your options, if it contained all other three options also, this would have also would be the right answer. Let's see what in detail what is selenium poisoning we will learn. Selenium is a trace mineral that is required for veterinary species, but too much can be toxic. That we already know that any substance is poison, only dose will determine poison. So any if selenium it is taken in higher concentration, it will cause toxicity. So it is in 1930 selenium toxicity animals were also called alkali disease, another name. In a question instead of blind staggers, if you come across alkali disease, the same answer will be there, which is thought to be repeat different stages of same conditions with selenium excess of selenium toxicity. Only nutrient whose level is controlled by the FDA. Okay, there are selenium accumulating plants. Okay, it's even though it is a water soluble, this particular element or mineral, but in case of plants, what is happening? It is accumulating. Accumulation is taking place in the plants. It also causes chronic toxicity, acute toxic, chronic toxic. We'll learn in detail. Effect in What are the effect of selenium toxicity in adult animals? We'll see. Affects keratin and hairs and hooves. This is the thing. Hairs, even in the case of horses, you can see hooves are getting it. Selenium is getting deposited in the hooves. Rough hair coat, bobbed tail. Here you can see Sloughed hooves. These are all things. This is a hooves which is showing at microscopic levels also. You can see. Selenium deficiency affect young animals. How it is selenium affecting nutritional muscular dystrophy it is causing. It is causing white muscle disease. It is affecting ability to stand and nurse. This is the reason young animals they cannot feed from the mother. Okay. Selenium deficiency in reproduction. How selenium deficiency is affecting reproductive animals, we'll see. Retained placenta, you can see, and decreased fertility. So these two are there, no? These are deficiency. Okay. And earlier we have discussed about selenium excess, its toxicity. So what I'm trying to say is that particularly in the case of metals or minerals, they do not follow a typical dose response curve, a shaped dose curve, response curve. In fact, these vitamins and minerals they have low dose efficiency and high dose toxicity will be there. So, in case of deficiency, also certain symptoms you can see. These are the symptoms. If about toxicity was given, those were the symptoms. Okay. Let's see more in detail how selenium is affecting acute toxicity and chronic toxicity. Responses to toxic levels of selenium are characterized as acute and chronic. Here you can clearly see what are the acute effects are there. Okay, some of which we have discussed here, and here are the chronic toxicity effects. Okay, you can pause the video and read in detail. See cracked and deformed, elongated hooves, loss of hair from tail. Uh, Loss of vitality. These are all things. Anorexia we have come across already. Respiratory failure, death from because acute poisoning, pulmonary affecting the lungs, labored breathing. Okay, staggered movement. Here the blind staggers. Here is a question our option contains. Acute selenium poisoning associated with sudden death occurs due to pulmonary congestion and edema, and can occur when cattle are fed 10 to 20 mg selenium or injected with more than 0.5 mg per kg LBW. LBW is nothing but live body weight. This is the unit that you used in the case of cattle. If you see in case of swine, acute selenosis occurs when selenium is injected at 1.65 mg per kg live body weight or fed at greater than 20 mg per kg live body weight. Chronic selenosis has been reported to occur when diets or feedstuff contain selenium at 5 to 20 mg per kg DM. DM is nothing but dry matter for swine or 5 to 40 mg per kg dry matter for both dairy and beef cattle over a period of several weeks or months. You need not do not worry. You need not remember all these values. Sir. I'm just trying to put this information together because you should be able to know the difference between acute selenium poisoning and chronic seleniosis. The recommended dietary selenium requirement is 0.3 mg per kg, approximately 16 times lower than the dietary level of 5 mg per kg. That is associated with the chronic selenosis. In case of chronic excess selenium inhibit, this is again very important point because this particular point is discussing about the mechanism of toxicity, how it is causing. Excess selenium, it will inhibit cellular enzyme oxidation reactions. You know that redox reactions are there in our body. Similarly, in the case of cattle also, especially those involving S containing amino acids, methionine, cysteine, which affects cell division and growth. These effects are greatest on the hoof and hair, which are the body tissues that contain highest concentration of this amino acid. That is the reason in the case of horse or cattle, you can see selenium deposition in the hoof and hair because highest sulfur containing amino acids are over there and selenium is going acting on this particular enzyme system which is on these amino acids and manifest as clinical signs of abnormal hoof and hair condition. So whenever there is an abnormal hoof or a hair conditions in the case of horse or cattle, you can see, you can understand that the source of poisoning might be excess of selenium in their diet. Okay. Last slide we'll come across. We'll read through what is selenium toxicity. Again, it is also called as selenosis. We have also told about this one hormosis concept. There is selenium toxicity as well as selenium deficiency. Whenever there is, if the diet contains less than zero point 0.1 mg per kg for selenium, it causes selenium deficiency. Okay, and it also have some detrimental effects, some toxic effects will also be there. Concentrations more than 5 mg per kg selenium are harmful and lead to selenium poisoning in the case of livestock. So you have to understand, as I have already discussed in my previous video, always your body has a repair mechanism. Here also you can see body attempts to rid itself of excess selenium through urine, bile and aspiration, or sequestering it in various tissue that making it less available. The portion that overwhelm these excretion sequestering system produces toxic effects, right? Some plant species, when grown on salinous soil, can accumulate selenium up to 3000 mg per kg as compared to 5 mg per kg, which is the maximum tolerable concentration in the case of food diet, the cattle diet, that is forages. Selenium accumulator plants usually have an unpleasant garlic sulfur odor that makes them unpalatable to livestock and grazing animals. Usually, so what happens, these plants are, they are having a foul odor, garlic sulfur odor, because of which, because of its unpalatability, even the grazing animals do not want to eat such plants. But what happens whenever there is an excess overgrazed or other forages are not available, in that case these cattle has to feed on these selenium accumulator plants, then they will be causing selenium toxicity. Other sources of selenosis risk include excessive administration of inorganic selenium, supplementation due to improper weighing of selenium premixes. Those who are in the agriculture or dairy industry, they will understand that you need to prepare premixes for the diet which is needed to for the cattle. So if this premixes contains excess of selenium, at that time also it causes selenium administering or injectable exceeding the recommended limit. So minimum lethal dose of selenium for sodium selenite. Always remember there will be some salt forms of selenium. So here it is sodium selenite. Okay. So you can see that for horses it is 1.5, for cattle it is 4.5 to 5.0, and for swine it is 6 to 8 mg per selenium per kg live body weight. So this below paragraph, it is taken from directly from lesson book. I would request you to go back and read. I am not sure. Uh, Probably they might ask some question or not. So here, if quickly we can go through selenium toxicity in animals was recognized in South Dakota, when the livestock that had been grazed in areas with high soil selenium developed alkali disease and cancer. So from this year, they might have the questioners, toxicology and board questions. They might have taken this one, and the effect how it's till now we have discussed how it is affecting the cattle, because blind stagger alkali disease, it is observed in the case of cattle. In a study of people living in this area, poor dentition, yellow discoloration of the skin, skin eruption, diseased fingernails, toenails, and so on. So any question they might ask this. So a population was living in area in which the plants or cattle were feeding on high stock of selenium, and in case of human beings they found these type of symptoms like food retention, yellow. So what are, they might give you some kind of options, some metals, selenium or chromium or silver, or some A to E option they might give, then you have to select selenium as the answer. Okay, hope you were able to learn a lot through this particular video about selenium, its deficiency and its toxicity. uh, so thank you so much. Be curious. For any questions, please comment, like, subscribe, and follow my YouTube channel, Toxicology on Board.